Hey y'all, welcome back to Porch Cooking and Reminiscing. I'm Roger, and as always, we're happy to have y'all here with us today. Today we're going to be making one of my mother's recipes. It's something we even served it in the restaurant. It was a really good seller at the restaurant. And quite honestly, it's probably about my favorite meal that my mother made. So we're going to get to making that, and what we're doing is cube steak with gravy. Now, we always called it minute steak. We didn't call it cube steak, but from what I understand, that's what most people know it as nowadays, is cube steak. But this is going to be a partially cooked on top of the stove and then finished off in the oven. So y'all stay with us and we're going to get to cooking. Something I've heard from a lot of people is that they have a really hard time cooking cube steak. They say it turns out dry or it just isn't good. So with this recipe that I'm going to show you today, I promise you, if you'll follow my recipe, it will be super tender. I mean, I'm talking fork tender, and you will have the best cube steak that you have ever had in your life. The first thing we're going to need, of course, is some cube steak. So we've got four really pretty pieces of cube steak. And so the first thing that we're going to do to them is we're going to put some salt, and we're just going to sprinkle some on each piece, and we're going to put some pepper on it. And not a lot of pepper, just a little bit. All right. And that's going to be the first step of what we're going to do. Next thing we're going to do is we've got us a plate here, and I put some of our white lily self-rising flour in this plate. So we're going to take the side that we just put the salt and pepper on, and we're going to place that down into the flour. And then we're going to put a little more salt on. If I can get my salt to come out. There it finally comes. All right, we're going to put a little more pepper on there, because we want to salt and pepper each side. Okay, just kind of mash that down in the flour. All right, got it good and coated. All righty, and now we're just going to set it over here to the side. We're going to do the same thing with the next piece. We'll put it down in there, season side down, and then we're going to put us a little salt. And a little pepper. All right, and then again, we're just going to take it, turn it over, kind of mash it down in that flour. And if it doesn't look like you've got enough on there, just kind of put you some more on the front side, tap it, and put you some more on that side if you think you haven't got enough. You want it to be pretty covered. All right, and then we're just going to place that one over here to the side, and we're going to do these other two pieces. And so once I get them done, we'll be back. We've got our steaks have been floured now, and any of that excess flour that you have left over in your plate, don't throw that away, because we're going to be using it here in just a minute. But what we're going to do now, got the stove been heating up, and so we are ready to start frying our pieces of minute steak. So we're just going to take them and put them in. This, of course, is our cast iron skillet that y'all know I enjoy using my cast iron. We're just going to put those all in the pan or in the skillet. and let them start to fry. Now, if you haven't got cast iron, you can, of course, use a regular frying pan. You don't have to use cast iron. All right, so we got that part done. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to let these cook and just get nice and brown, get a brown coating, let that flour get hardened up and everything. And then we're going to flip it over. Our cube steak's been frying for just a couple of minutes on this side, but it's ready to be turned over. So we're just going to take a fork, get a good hold on it, and we're going to flip it. Nothing to it. And we want to see that little bit of crust on the outside of the piece as we flip it. And now also, and I didn't tell y'all this, but in the pan here, I have got vegetable oil. That's how we always did it and how we always cooked it. So that's what I'm staying with on this is vegetable oil. Y'all know if you want to use some other kind of oil, that's fine. You know, use whatever you like best, but we're going with the vegetable oil. So we're going to give this a few minutes on this side, and then we'll be ready to go on to the next step. Okay, y'all. So we've got this browned on each side. We don't want to cook it in this skillet. We just want to get it brown. So we're going to take our pieces out and just going to put them over here on the cutting board, in which the cutting board I did wash, and so we've got a good fresh clean surface for our cutting board. And so we're just going to take each piece of that out, turn that one over a little bit. It had just a little bit of blood coming out of the top of it. So we're going to just take that out and, like I say, put it over here. As I told you, don't throw away that excess flour that you had in the plate, because we're now going to take all this grease or oil and meat drippings and everything that has cooked out of there, and we want all the brown stuff. That's the flavor right there. And we're going to just take some of this flour, push it off in there, and we're going to make a roux out of this. All right, let's see what we got with that much flour, see if we need any more. As I say, you can use metal on cast iron. Just don't use the pointed part of the fork on your cast iron. But we're just going to smooth this around. And I believe we can go ahead and get some more of that flour in there. And this is just something you just kind of have to look at it and see what you think about how much flour to put in there. And now you want to let this flour cook for a few minutes. Basically, you've got a roux here, and you just want to let it cook a little bit so that the taste of that flour kind of cooks out. And that just takes just a few minutes. It doesn't take too long at all. But we also want to loosen up all the good stuff on the bottom, because that is going to give us a delicious gravy. Now that our flour has cooked up for a few minutes, the next step that we're going to do, and I know y'all are going to tell me that I'm crazy, but I'm telling you, this is my mama's recipe, and I've seen her make it no telling how many times. But we're going to start out with 1 cup of water, and we're just going to slowly pour that water into that skillet with the flour and our oil and our meat drippings. And you're just going to stir it around. I didn't use all the water, but we may have to come back and use some more of it. And may have to even get more. That's one of the parts that I couldn't remember is how much water that my mom used. So, as I said, we may have to put more, or that may be just enough. I just can't remember for sure how much that she did. And like I say, I'm using the bottom of the fork. I'm not using the sharp parts of the fork. So don't anybody freak out. But guys, I'm telling you, this is going to make a delicious gravy. All right, we're going to let this simmer for a few minutes and get thick, and then we'll be back. So we've had our gravy simmering for probably about 4 minutes. We're going to go ahead and put just a little more salt in. And we're going to put a little more pepper in. All right. Now this gravy, I did wind up using 2 cups of water in here. And like I say, just simmering it and letting it blend everything in together. And we're going to mix that salt and pepper up in there. And now we're just going to take our cube steak and we're going to just place it back in the skillet with our gravy. All right, so we've got our cube steak in there, got our gravy in there, and that's all we're going to do to it. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to completely cover this skillet with aluminum foil. And then we're going to put it in the oven at about 350 degrees. And we're going to come back and check it probably in about 40-45 minutes. But it's probably going to take about an hour for this to completely cook. Also, our steak was in the oven for about an hour. And it's as tender as it can be, but I wanted you to see it just the way it was in the pan. And so what we want to do now is take us some of this gravy, and that gravy is, oh, it's so pretty and thickened up. And remember now, we only put water in this. We didn't put any milk or anything in it, but this makes just an awesome, awesome gravy. So we want to put some gravy over every piece of it. And we let it sit for, probably 10 minutes or so, just to let it rest. And you always want to let your meat rest. You don't ever want to just jump right in there and start cutting on it. But like I say, I'm telling you, this stuff is fork tender and so good. All right, so we're going to let that sit there. And then I did make a little pot of green beans. And now on the green beans, those are the Allen's seasoned Italian green beans. Now with these, you don't have to put anything else in them, but I do usually put like a chicken bouillon or a beef bouillon cube in it, but whatever you do, don't add any more salt to it. I do add a little bit of pepper, but these are really good. If you've never tried them, you need to get you some. And we've also got some cream potatoes to go with our steak and gravy. And cream potatoes, the ones we've got tonight are not the ones I'm going to tell you about. But if you want something that's just quick and easy, if you haven't tried these, get you some of the Bob Evans creamed or mashed potatoes. But Bob Evans cream potatoes, I'm telling you guys, they taste just like homemade, and all you got to do is put them in the microwave, heat them up a little, just follow the package direction, and you've got cream potatoes that everybody's going to think you made them. All right, so guys, we're going to get us a plate together with this, and then we're going to give it a try. So there we have our plate with our cream potatoes, our steak, green beans, put a little gravy over those potatoes and a little more over the steak. And so now we are ready to give it a try. Before I try it, I just want y'all to see just how tender that this steak is. Just a fork is all you need to be able to cut right through it. and it is so tender. Like I say, don't even need a knife to be able to cut it. All right, guys, I got me a big old piece of steak there. Not going to do the cream potatoes with this bite because I want to just taste the steak first. So here we go. All right, but that is so tender for minute steak. Like I say, most of the time people talk about how tough minute steak is, how dry it is. That's not tough. It's not dry. It's really great. And the key is just cooking it for about an hour. If you've got thicker pieces of steak, you may want to let that go a little longer than an hour. Um, but if as long as they're thin pieces, about an hour is going to do it. So hope y'all try this. Make it for your family, make it for your friends, and they'll enjoy every bite of it. And tell you something else that goes really well is if you've got this left over for the next day, fry you up some eggs and put an egg on top of that piece of steak. That is really delicious. Matter of fact, we've got a video. It's one of the first ones that we ever did, so it's going to be pretty far back. But I actually did the minute steak, a little different method than this right here. But then I put the egg over top of it, made a cut in it. The yellow from the egg run all everywhere. I'm telling you, it's good. So if you got steak left over, try it with eggs the next day. Y'all have a great one. Appreciate y'all being here and watching. Hope you'll try it. I think you'll enjoy it. Y'all have a great one.